Hi, this is Joe Chambers. Welcome to Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage to Vault Series. Today's clip is an interview we did with Charlie McCoy back in 2005. The part about Bob Dylan we've already shown. This is new content where Charlie talks about moving from Florida to Nashville as a teenager, playing guitar, singing Chuck Berry songs, thinking he's going to be a rock star, ends up being one of Nashville's premier session musicians, not only on guitar, but on bass, vibes, harmonica, just about any instrument you can think of. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. Once again, one of the very best session musicians Nashville's ever seen, Charlie McCoy.
I was raised in Florida. We moved from West Virginia to Florida, and I was playing in rock and roll bands, and I got a job with a country band playing 15 minutes of rock and roll each hour, singing and playing. And one night Mel Tillis came in and heard me, and he told me that if I would come to Nashville, he could get me on Decca tomorrow.
How old were you then?
I was 17. And the guy I was working for, who knew Mel, he said, well, I don't think he can get you on Decca tomorrow, but he is very well connected in Nashville. So when I graduated from high school, the same guy that I was working for drove me to Nashville to audition. And I came up here and auditioned for Chet, Owen, Don Law, and Jim Vino. And what I was doing was singing and playing Chuck Berry. And needless to say, I got turned down by all four of those people. And but Owen was really great. He invited me to go to a session. And of course, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I was, I was like when you're 18, you know everything. And I was a pretty big fish in Miami, and I thought, what do these people in this little town know? And so I went to this session mainly because, well, I didn't have anything else to do. And I went and I watched Brendan Lee record Sweet Nothings. And
That was at B?
Yeah. And when I heard the first playback, my whole life changed. It's the greatest thing I'd ever heard. And I decided at that moment, to heck with being a singer, I want to do this. I want to be a studio musician. So I went back to Florida, went 1 year to the University of Miami, studying music education, and after 1 year I said, nope, I can't do it. I kept remembering what I saw and what I heard, and I said, I got to figure out a way to do that.
So how did you do it?
Well, I came back up here to play in a band. A friend of mine that was originally from Miami was up here, and they put a band together. I came up to play in a band, and Mel Tillis' manager was helping me, Jim Denny, and he started letting me play on demo sessions. And the guy I came up with was letting me help him write songs. It was Kent Westbury. And we wrote a song. I sang the demo. It was a kind of a rock song, and it was, nobody around here was singing that way. So I sang the demo. And in September of '60, Jim Denny called me and said, Archie Blyer with Cadence Records has heard your demo and he wants to record you. So here I was singing again. And so Jim Denny said to me, well, I want you to be available anytime Archie wants to see you, so I'm going to let you play some demo sessions to make a living. So I started playing demo sessions. Chet heard my harp on a song that he was going to record. And May of '61, I was called by Chet to come and play on a session with Ann-Margret.
No kidding.
And that's where it started.
So when did you start playing? Because I know you played guitar on a lot of sessions as well.
No, not too many. Mainly harp to begin with, and then I was in for fun, Kenny Buttry and Wayne Moss and me had a little rock and roll band. We would play on the weekends here, and I was playing bass. And so I started playing bass on some sessions. And we'd always we'd always recorded a lot of pop records here. People don't remember the pop records that were cut here. I mean, other than Brendan Lee and Roy Orbison and the Everly Brothers. Songs like My Special Angel and Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms. Bobby Helms is as country a singer as there is. But he had these two huge pop hits. Johnny Horton. Johnny Horton had 3 or 4 huge hits. Of course, Perry Como. Perry Como cut hits here. And we even had R&B hits coming out of here. Joe Simon, Peggy Scott and JoJo Benson. Brooke Benton recorded here. So there was always a lot of records recorded here that went pop. But Johnny Tillotson, I can't forget Johnny Tillotson.
You played on, I know you played on a lot of sessions over with Billy Sherrill.
Yeah, I played on He Stopped Loving Her Today. Played on Rose Garden. I played on Charlie Rich, Mohair Sam. A lot of records for Columbia, and a lot of records for RCA. Skeeter Davis, Jim Ed Brown, Dolly, Bobby Bear. I did the tuning guitar on Detroit City.
Yeah.
Some other instruments I've done on records. I did trumpet on Everybody Must Get Stoned. Baritone sax on Pretty Woman. Of course, the tuning guitar on Detroit City. Organ on Easy Lovin' by Freddie Hart. I did a lot of organ with Elvis, and did vibes and bells on Blue Velvet by Bobby Vinton.
That was at B, Studio Columbia B, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember who produced that?
Yeah, a guy named Bob Morgan came here from New York. I did bass harmonica on the Boxer, bass on John Wesley Harding, Nashville Skyline, and Self Portrait.
So you played bass on the original All on the Watchtower.
Yeah. And those were, I think those are some of the bigger. Harmonica on He Stopped Loving Her Today, which I think may be the best piece of session work I ever did, because it's exactly what I wanted to play. I think it fit the song right, and was just enough. If I was going to coach somebody how to play on a session, I think, of course, I learned from Grady Martin, who I think was the best ever. But I mean, that's the way I would coach somebody to do it. I'll just say, there's so many great players here, but the greatest session player I've ever known, for me, is Pig Robbins. He's played probably on more sessions, maybe more than anybody else by now. He's played the same chord changes 10,000 times, and it's always interesting, it's always new, it's always different, and when he's on a session, everybody else plays better. I think the best session leader I ever worked with was Grady Martin. Grady was like an interior decorator. He could look at an empty room and immediately see the finished result. And if when you played sessions with Grady, 99 times out of 100, the first thing he played was what he played on the record. It's just that he had the vision, and he could see it, and he taught me more about when not to play than anybody I ever worked with. Those are probably the two biggest influences I have as far as, my favorite player and the guy that taught me the most.
Any other memorable sessions that comes to the top of your head?
It was a great Elvis story. Elvis, they were doing all this movie soundtracks here, and Elvis, would sleep all day and want to record all night, which made it tough on a lot of us because we were working other sessions during the daytime. I remember several times leaving RCA, going and having breakfast and going to my next session. But so they would bring in food at midnight, and one night they brought in, you know, burgers and fries, and you know, he had those his friends around, they called the Memphis Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought this food in and they set it up on a table there at Studio B, RCA, and there was a big like a big cup full of pickles, spears, you know, dill pickles. And Jerry Kerrigan was playing drums on that session, and he went over and was reaching for a pickle, and from out of nowhere, this hand came and said, "Those are Elvis's pickles." And that was it. And, you know, and if it was Elvis, he would have given him the whole cup, you know, no problem. But so these guys, I guess, some of them had a need to, you know, to
earn their money.
To earn their money, right?
Well, man, I know we're on kind of a tight schedule here, and I'm trying to try to keep it within the.
Yeah, well, just let me wrap it up and say that number one, to get to do what I've done was a dream. It was a dream I had from the day I watched Brendan Lee record Sweet Nothings. To actually get to do it was unbelievable. To still be doing it 40 years later is just mind-boggling to me. You know, I have played with some of the best musicians in the world here, and I'm as proud of a lot of the records that nobody ever heard as I am the big, you know, because people are always, they're impressed by the stars you've played with, but I'm impressed by people that have talent and people that are good people and, you know, that really want to do this. I'm impressed by that, whether they're stars or not. And to get to do this for 45 years is an absolute dream come true. And I think that the thing that impresses me the most about Nashville is that you can get a group of studio musicians and go have a session with a guy who hawked his farm in Kansas to get enough money to come here. And for that 3 hours, that guy is as important to those musicians as Garth Brooks or Elvis or Bob Dylan. And I think that's the key to Nashville's success.